All right, guys, we're going to go through each question on the nearpod, and I'm going to show you how to answer them. You can use this while you are taking your final, so it should be super helpful. First question says to write the following polynomial in standard form. So we start with the highest exponent. So in this case, our highest exponent is the fourth power. So we're going to say 4.8 a to the fourth. Then the next highest exponent is to the second power, so plus a squared. Then we have a minus 6.3 a. And last but not least, our constant of 3.8. The degree of our polynomial is given by the highest exponent that we see, whether it's in standard form or not. It's still the highest exponent. So here it's 4. And then our leading coefficient is looking at that highest exponent. What is the coefficient? So 4.8. This is the exact same type of problem with different numbers. So we're going to start off with writing that in standard form. So it says 5.2 x to the fourth. Then we have our x squared term. Then our minus 6.6x. And then a plus 3.6, our constant. We look at the highest exponent. Again, it's 4 here, so that's our degree. And the leading coefficient is the coefficient of the term with the highest exponent, so 5.2. On this one, I highly recommend you use Desmos to graph it, so that's what I did. I just typed y equals x minus 6x squared into Desmos, and it asks me what happens as x tends to infinity. So remember, if we're looking at infinities, we're looking at a positive infinity is either up or right, and a negative infinity is down or left. So when it asks me what's happening as x tends to positive infinity, it's asking what happens when x goes to the right. I know it's right because x is my left and right. Remember, this is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. So as x goes to the right, what happens to my y value? What happens to my graph? Well, as x goes to the right, my graph goes down. It's like there's an arrow here. So since it's going down, that means I'm looking here at negative infinity as my answer. Same type of question here. So remember, when we're talking about our infinities, positive infinity is either right or up, and negative infinity is left or down. So this one is asking what happens when x tends to negative infinity. Again, x is my left and right, y is my up and down. So when I graphed it in Desmos, it's the exact same thing that's up here. I graphed it into Desmos. So what happens when x goes to the left? What happens to my graph? Well, my graph goes down. So that would be negative infinity. Okay, now we're just combining like terms. So we're looking for what's alike. So negative 6x squared doesn't have anybody else that's like it. So I'm just going to write negative 6x squared down. Now I like to mark them off as I go in my picture, or in my problem. Now I'm looking at our 7x's. So the next term would be the x terms. This sign says, what am I doing? So I'm doing 7x plus negative 7x. If you're not sure what that is, type in Desmos, 7 plus negative 7. That cancels out, so I get a 0. Now the last term is this, 6 plus negative 11. So 6 plus negative 11. Type it into Desmos if you need to, but that's negative 5. So that's my final answer. All right, so same exact type of problem. I'm going to start off with my 7x squared. He has no friends. Then I'm going to go to my negative 11x and my positive 11x, and their operation is plus. So negative 11x plus 11x cancels out, and I get a 0. And then our last one that we're looking at is our negative 8 plus negative 2. Negative 8 plus negative 2, and that gives me a negative 10. 7x squared minus 10. This one's a little bit more difficult, so I'm going to sneak in a negative 1 here. I've got two ways that I do this problem. Most of you are going to do it this way, where we distribute this negative 1. So when I do that, I'm not going to change my first set of parentheses. So all of this is going to stay the same. 7y squared plus 5y minus 4. Now when I distribute that -1, it's going to change. -1 times -3y is a positive 3y. -1 times positive 3 is a -3. Now I'm looking for who's alike. 7y squared doesn't seem to have any friends, so I'm just going to write 7y squared. Cancel him out. He's done. 5y plus 3y. 5y plus 3y is 8y. So that's an 8y. Done with him. -4 minus 3. -4 minus 3. You can go do if that helps. So that would give me a -7. The other way you can do this is you can just use that subtraction symbol right here. And let's get rid of the rest of this stuff. So if we use the subtraction symbol, I can do 7y squared has no friends, so it's just 7y squared. Then positive 5 minus -3. So positive 5 minus a -3. If we go do, we're back to plus. So 5 plus 3 is 8, so 8y. And then -4 minus 3. So -4 minus 3. Again, go do, and we still get the -7. So it's just a little less work. All right, so same type of problem here. We're starting out with our 4y squared plus 9y minus 5. Then we're distributing this -1. So -1 times -4 is positive 4y. -1 times positive 8 is -8. Now we're going to combine our like terms. 4y squared has no friend, so it's just 4y squared. 9y plus 4y is a positive 13y. And then -5 and minus 8. So -5 minus 8, you can go do if that helps, gives me a -13. Now if we go back and think about how I would have done it without having to distribute, we would use that minus sign to tell us what to do. So 4y squared wouldn't change. I'd still have 4y squared. 9 minus -4. So 9y minus -4y. If I did the do, I'm back to the same 9y plus 4y. Gives me a positive 13. And then a -5 minus 8. -5 minus 8. Again, we're going do, and we get -13. So just a different way to do it with less steps. All right, so here's the real doozy. We've got to do our distributive property, and we've got to do it twice. So we're double distributing. We're going x times x squared. Now, when we do that, all we're doing is adding an x. So 2 plus 1 gives me 3. X times -5x is -5x squared. X times 7 is positive 7x. That's the first one. The second one, I've got to distribute the -2. So everything gets multiplied by -2. -2x squared. -2 times -5 is positive 10x. And -2 times 7 is -14. Now I'm back to just combining our like terms. So x cubed, no friends. Then I go -5x squared minus 2x. So -5x squared minus 2x squared. We can go do to get our -7x squared. Mark them off. 7x plus 10x. 7x plus 10x. That's just a 17x. And -14 tags along. No friends. All right, last question. We're going to do exactly the same thing. Start by distributing that x. Since it's just an x, all we're doing is adding an x. So x squared times x is x to the third. 2 plus 1 is 3. X times -3x is -3x squared. X times 5 is a positive 5x. Now when we do the second term, make sure you take that negative with you. -7 times x squared is -7x squared. -7 times -3x is positive 21x, and -7 times 5 is -35. Now I'm going to go through and combine my like terms. X cubed, nobody to combine with. -3x squared minus 7x squared. -3x squared minus 7x squared. Go ahead and do. -10x squared. You can also put that in Desmos. Just use the coefficients, don't put the x squareds. Then I've got 5x and 21x are like terms, so that's 26x. And then a minus 35 on the end. I hope this helps you get 100 on that final exam. Good luck, guys.